And just like that, it's now in tow mode. So I figured I'd take the opportunity to do a quick walk around of this truck. I've never really done a close-up of it. Talk about some of the stuff that's done to it. It doesn't really have a lot, it's mostly stock, but so when we got the truck, it had a 3-inch Pro Comp lift on it, and the front shocks didn't last very long, so I ended up swapping those out for some 2.5 Icons. And so far we've been fairly happy with them. Valving seems to be okay out of the box for street driving and mild trail use, towing, things like that. So as you can see, I don't have a sway bar. I don't run sway bars on most of my vehicles. I've never really had an instant where I thought that they made that much of a difference. I ran them on my drift cars and my track cars and stuff, but off-road vehicles that I drive on trails and stuff like that, I tend to take them off. So with a decent coilover and a decent pound spring, body roll and all that stuff is pretty well controlled. So as you can see, I didn't get much wheeling done. We didn't really take this truck out. The closest off-road park to where we're staying here in Kansas City, Missouri is it's like 3-hour drive. So with my wife's schedule and the way everything was going, we just kind of kept it simple this time, kept our trip simple, and just did stuff with the kids. So front bumper is off of a Xterra from the Nissan club that I used to belong to. It was donated to me by Keith, the guy with the red Rubicon. You might have seen in some of my other videos, but anyway, he gave it to me. I reworked it, put it on this truck. It still needs a lot of work. It's just mild steel. It's nothing too fancy, but it does look better than the stock bumper, so I put it on there. It's better than it going to scrap. So front rear cameras, the factory rear cameras tied into the rearview mirror, works fine. I didn't see a need to rewire it and tie it into the radio. Stock upper control arms, stock steering links, stock, everything stock. I may or may not be modding this when I get to Michigan. I haven't decided yet. The fenders are trimmed a little bit. I had planned on running 37s on here, but I didn't have enough time to get everything re-geared. I wanted to put, if I'm going to take the diffs out, I'm going to do e-lockers, I'm going to do the steering rack bushings. I have those sitting in the door over here. But time didn't allow me to get all that done, and it's a hefty price tag on a Tundra. So those of you with them, So 18-inch Pro Comps, 35-inch 1250 Milestars. So far I've been pretty happy with them. They're not too loud on the highway, and the traction on them is great. They're fairly decent all-round tire. Inside has stereotypical stuff in it, fairly stock. I do have all my light bars hooked up on a switch here. Head unit was changed out by the previous owner, so my front camera is actually tied into that. And then power adapters, Mountain Dew, gotta have those. Pretty much all stock in here, but I did change out these to some amber LEDs. That makes a night and day difference. I'm really happy with these. Just cheap Amazon ones, but they've worked well over a year now. I haven't had any issues. So yeah, if you're looking for a nice little amber light, lights up the interior way better than stock, and doesn't attract as many bugs as a standard white LED. So pretty good upgrade. Been pretty happy with it. Seat cover off the Sequoia. Naturally, you know what that means. There's tools and stuff back here. Radios, tools, pry bars, blah blah blah. That stuff's back here. Tow strap / ratchet strap. I just pulled these mirrors off as you saw in the time-lapse video, but jumper cables, standard stuff, oil filter cap wrench. Not really sure what Toyota calls that housing, but whatever. LED lights that I plan on putting in the rear soft top. Airsoft bullets because, you know, gotta have ammo. Dog bowls. These are just cheapy little headrest, iPad, tablet, computer, whatever you want to call it, holders. And the kids watch videos and do all their stuff on their little laptops. Grab handles so the kids can get in. They're a little bit short, just like their dad. Long drives. These are a must for kids. Keeps the hot seat. That thin little cheap foam cover that comes on these, it stains, it stinks, it's horrible. So take it off, throw it away, buy a couple of these. They're like 20 bucks. And makes a night and day difference. No complaining, oh my legs hurt, my back hurts, blah blah blah. So the kids like it. Stereo box, amp mounted under seat, big giant aluminum block for jacking up stuff that's lifted. Pretty much common stuff you'll see in any of my vehicles. Soft topper. So far I've been really happy with it. It's extremely lightweight. It does protect most of the stuff in the bed. It's easy to take on and off if you really wanted to do that. I've left mine on since I put it on, but I did adjust it a few times, and it's really easy to adjust. It's pretty nice. Quick fist, holding a full-size man shovel. Hammer, you never know. RV life. Floor jack, this will be swapped out for an aluminum one. I've been saying that for over a year now, but someday I'll get around to it. These guys work, haven't failed me, so just cheap Harbor Freight crap, but they work really well. Bulldog winch, air compressor, slightly modded of course, a couple little things done to it, high flow connectors, blah blah blah. Love this thing, works really really well. Toolkit, same one from the Sequoia. This has been transferred over. I made a little mount out of some scrap metal that I had, so it just slides in, locks in, stays in when the tailgate's up, doesn't go anywhere, doesn't rattle around. It's great. Jack handle, flags, dune flags, gotta have those when you're at the dunes, especially Silver Lake. It's where we typically go. Last summer, this summer we're heading up there right now. That's why I went to tow mode on this guy, so we can get up there and spend some time with family and have a little bit of fun and do some camping and different things. So I'll try and get some videos and pictures and lots of fun stuff, so look forward to that. Sand ramps, toolbox, all my tool bags, everything are all mounted in that crate. It's real easy to pull out, put back in. I have access to everything, so it's pretty nice. Air hose, 50 foot, high flow connectors, just cheap ones from like Walmart or Harbor Freight. They work just fine. Rear suspension, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that these are Pro Comp springs. And then you can see there was a 1-inch block under there. I plan on eliminating that when I go to new rear spring packs. You'll notice my shocks. I've had extremely good luck with these. I don't know why. I was just looking for a cheap replacement to get me by until I could get something off a back order. And I ran these on the Sequoia and this truck, and they work great. They don't leak. The valving is good for the truck. They work really well. If you look at any of my Sequoia videos, you can see that I ran basically the same shock. It's the one on the Sequoia is made for a 6-inch. This is made for a 2 to 4 inch lift. So the one on the Sequoias are slightly longer than this guy right here, but yeah, they work really well. Trim the exhaust. I plan on putting a Flowmaster on here eventually. Spare tire is still mounted under here. So I plan on, once I have some time, when I get to Michigan, I'm actually going to rebuild this rear bumper. I'm going to cut this guy off here, and then when I'm out on trails and basically not towing the camper, I'm going to pull this hitch assembly and wiring harness off. It's really easy to take off. It's 4 bolts per side. It's not that bad. So, and then I'm going to make a quick release setup for the rear bags, and I'm no longer going to be attaching them to the leaf spring. So I'll get some machined lower cups that supposedly work well for that. So CB antenna isn't really a CB antenna. It's actually for the radio. When we first got the truck, my wife complained about the radio reception in town not working very well, so that was my leftover piece, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it. So I bought the little adapter. Works fine, way better reception. Full first aid kit. When you have kids, especially boys, who ride bikes and do all kinds of fun stuff, gotta have band-aids, gotta have Neosporin. It's a must. Foam in between the seats to keep stuff from disappearing. All of you who know how that goes with any vehicle, that's a must. Extra gloves, blah blah blah. Same old stuff. Water, zip ties, cable straps, tie downs, things like that. Spare jackets, beanies, things like that are usually hidden under the seats. You never know. We've had the weather change up to 45 degrees difference from one day to the next in this state right here where we're at. So Kansas City, Missouri, very interesting. Tornado warnings at 1 o'clock in the morning. Next day, sun, hot, frying you. So yeah, I don't know. I don't remember what all's in here. I don't think there's very much. Makeup, hand sanitizer. Wife works at the hospital. She keeps all this stuff around. Spare straw, you never know. You might need it. Get gypped at McDonald's. They didn't give you enough straws. You gotta have spares. Baby wipes, cigarettes for the smokers. Tourniquet, rain ponchos, cheap ones from Walmart. They work great, and you never know when you might need them. Solar blanket, basic survival stuff. Always spare lighters around, you never know when you might need one. So if you follow my Instagram or seen any of my other posts, you'll know that we've had problems with these guys because, you know, I like to run naked, no inner finner. And so because of that, the factory intakes come up here and they're plastic and they suck a whole bunch of water down inside those guys. That destroys them. The water seeps through the fan and gets into the motors inside those little cups. They're just like a 775 DC motor, similar to what would be in a Traxxas Summit or a newer Emax or stuff. But anyway, you can see I modified the intakes. So Super Duty headquarters sells a kit. I think it's like 400, 500 bucks. Comes with a cute little machined aluminum piece that adapts from the rubber hose to a AN fitting, and then that goes to a braided line that goes up inside the engine compartment, and then back up here by the firewall you get a couple little K&N air filters. And I just can't spend that kind of money on stuff like that. I went to Napa, I bought a 1-inch inside diameter hose, I cut my plastic factory intake pieces off, got some hose clamps from Home Depot, and I ordered some $10 motorcycle air filters that are 1-inch off of Amazon. I just don't like spending a bunch of money on stuff that I'm not 100% sure it's going to make a difference. I like to test things out. I may go back and fix it. As a matter of fact, I'll show you. I plan on doing what a lot of these hot rod pre-runner guys do. Excuse me while I lift this up. For you pre-runner Tundra guys, they take this washer bottle, they either buy a smaller one and relocate it, or they just eliminate it altogether. Cut the inner fender wells out, and then they take the air injector pumps and they mount them on a bracket right here, which is probably exactly what I'm going to do. I'll probably eliminate this guy. I think I've used it once in the whole 5 years that I've had this truck, and I don't, yeah. So take those pumps, mount them up here, redo the intake, redo the hoses, and yeah, stock. No fancy supercharger, no turbo, nothing cool under here. But once I get to Michigan, leaving in a couple days, so I'll get some more videos, maybe get some fab stuff done, show you guys some of that stuff. I may rework this whole front suspension. I don't know if I'll go long travel and widen it, probably not. I'll probably just leave it stock width, just do like a mid-travel setup. High clearance arms, and then rework the front. I'll eliminate the cam bolt, move the tires forward probably 1.5 to 2 inches. That way I eventually can run a 37 or maybe even a 40-inch tire on this. I don't know. Everybody does drop bracket lifts, and that's great. I don't like the cast spindles. So I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do here. I might do some magical stuff. And I might not. I might leave it the way it is. I don't know. Secondary shock, bumps, rear bumps, probably spring overs, maybe some Alcans, or I don't know. I might put something on the back. I'm not sure. We'll see how time and budget goes once we're in Michigan and family starts soaking up all the funds. But you guys know how that goes. LED lights, yellow film, just to set the truck apart from all the other trucks. When I walk out into the parking lot, there's usually quite a few Tundras parked around. Some of them are lifted, some of them aren't, but mine's real easy to spot. A-pillar lights, ditch lights, whatever you guys want to call them. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Nothing fancy. It wheels really, really well. I might cut in a couple clips of me going over some obstacles that me and my friends were playing on in Butcher Jones. In those clips, I've got some 35-inch Mickey Thompsons that were like literally 20% tread life. And this thing idled over pretty much everything. It was...
There you go.